Hello guys, welcome to Ravio.
Quick question before we start. If your favorite team loses 2 of their first 3 games at this World Cup, are they eliminated? Most people would say obviously yes. 2 losses out of 3, you're done. But right now, in the actual tournament happening across the US, Mexico, and Canada as you're watching this, the answer is no. Not necessarily. A team can lose 2 games and still make it through to the next round. That one twist is the key to understanding everything about how World Cup groups actually work, and FIFA just rewired the entire system this year. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how groups are built, how teams advance, why some groups become absolute bloodbaths while others are basically free passes, and what's actually happening in this summer's tournament right now. Stick around because this gets weirder than you'd expect. Start with the basic problem FIFA has every 4 years. You've got dozens of national teams all chasing the same trophy. You can't just throw them into a single elimination bracket from day one. 1 red card, 1 freak deflection, and a genuinely great team is gone after 90 minutes. That's brutal, it's unfair, and frankly, it's bad television. Nobody wants their tournament over in week 1, and broadcasters definitely don't want their biggest stars gone before the second weekend. So FIFA does something smarter. They split every team into small mini-leagues first. Those are called groups. Think of it like the seeding rounds before March Madness, except instead of college basketball teams, it's entire countries, and instead of 1 bad shooting night ending your season, you get 3 full games to prove yourself. This isn't a new idea, by the way. Some version of a group stage has existed since the very first World Cup back in 1930. FIFA has tweaked the math over and over across nearly a century, but the basic logic has stayed the same the entire time. Give teams a buffer before the knockouts start. This year there are 48 teams at the World Cup. That's the most in history. They're split into 12 groups of 4 teams each, labeled Group A all the way through Group L. Here's how a group works on the ground. Every team plays the other 3 teams in its group 1 time each. 3 games, no repeats, no knockouts yet. Just 3 matches to make your case. Now, how do you actually rank 4 teams after 3 games? Points. Win, you get 3 points. Draw, meaning the game ends tied, both teams get 1 point. Lose, you get 0. Whoever has the most points after 3 games tops the group. Here's something that trips up a lot of new fans. In the group stage, there's no overtime. If the score's tied after 90 minutes, it just stays tied. Forever. Both teams shake hands, split the points, and go home. That single rule changes how entire matches get played. Sometimes a team that's winning will deliberately slow the game down and protect a draw instead of risking everything for a win, because 1 point in the bank is sometimes safer than gambling for 3. American sports fans tend to hate this the first time they see it. European and South American fans treat it as basic strategy. Now here's where the 2026 tournament completely rewrote the rule book, and it's a genuinely wild story. Before this year, only the top 2 teams from each group advanced. Everyone else went home. Brutal, simple, final. But FIFA expanded the World Cup from 32 teams to 48, adding 16 new countries. That meant the whole math had to change. Originally, FIFA's plan was actually 16 groups of just 3 teams each. Sounds tidy on paper, but there's a nasty flaw hiding in that setup. In a 3-team group, the final 2 matches of the group stage get played at the exact same time. That sounds fine until you realize what it enables. 2 teams, both knowing exactly what score they need, could theoretically settle into a quiet, mutually convenient result that eliminates the 3rd team, who isn't even on the field at that moment to fight back. And this isn't some hypothetical fear. At the actual 2022 World Cup, the final round of group matches created so much controversy and so many simultaneous, suspicious-looking results that FIFA looked at it afterward and said, "We are not doing that with even smaller groups." So they scrapped the 3-team idea entirely and stuck with 12 groups of 4, where every single team in a group plays its last match at the exact same kickoff time. Nobody gets to sit back and do math while watching another game on a phone. Everybody has to fight blind, all at once. So here's how the new advancement system actually works. The top 2 teams from every group advance automatically. 12 groups, 2 each, that's 24 teams. But then FIFA also takes the 8 best third-place finishers from across all 12 groups combined, and they advance too. 24 plus 8 equals 32 teams moving into the knockout rounds. Stop and sit with that for a second. Out of 48 total teams, 32 of them survive the group stage. That's roughly 2 out of every 3 teams making it through. Compare that to the old format where only 16 of 32 teams advanced, exactly half. The odds of surviving the group stage just got noticeably better, even with way more teams competing for those spots. More competition, easier survival. FIFA basically built a bigger door into the same house, and this created something that has never ever existed in a Men's World Cup before. A brand new knockout round called the Round of 32. It didn't exist in 2022, didn't exist in 2018, didn't exist in any previous tournament, period. It's an entirely new stage of the bracket built specifically to handle all these extra survivors. Which also means this year's eventual champion has to win 8 total matches to lift the trophy, one more game than any World Cup winner in history ever had to play. So who actually lands in which group? Is it random chaos or is there a system? There's a system. FIFA ranks every qualifying nation and sorts them into tiers, called pots, based on world rankings. The strongest teams go into pot 1, the next tier into pot 2, and so on down to pot 4. Then FIFA draws one team from each pot into every group. This stops a disaster scenario where the 4 best teams on the planet accidentally land together and wipe each other out before the tournament even gets interesting. There's also a quieter rule working in the background. 2 teams from the same continental region usually can't land in the same group to keep the tournament balanced and the travel sane. The one exception is Europe, which qualifies so many teams that a single group is sometimes forced to hold 2 European nations at once. The 3 host nations got locked in before the draw even happened. Mexico was placed straight into Group A, Canada went into Group B. The United States landed in Group D. Hosts always get guaranteed slots since they don't have to qualify the normal way, and FIFA spreads them out so they're not stepping on each other's storylines early. Even with all that careful planning, chaos still sneaks in. Some groups, just by pure luck of the draw, end up brutally stacked anyway. Football fans have a name for this. They call it the group of death. This phrase isn't new internet slang, by the way. It actually goes all the way back to 1970, when Mexican journalists coined the term El Grupo de la Muerte to describe a group at that World Cup containing England, the reigning champions, Brazil, who would go on to win the whole thing, plus Czechoslovakia and Romania. Reporters looked at that group and basically said, somebody great is going to die in here. The name stuck for over 50 years, and it shows up in headlines before basically every single World Cup since. So which group has earned that title this year? Most analysts and ranking models point straight at Group 1. It contains France, Senegal, Norway, and a 4th team that came through a playoff path. France currently ranks among the very best teams on the planet. Norway has Erling Haaland, one of the most lethal scorers in the sport right now. Senegal is one of Africa's strongest teams. On paper, that's 3 legitimate contenders crammed into one group, and somebody dangerous is going to leave early. But here's the twist, and it connects right back to what we covered earlier. Because 32 of the 48 teams now advance, even finishing 3rd in a brutal group like that might not be a death sentence anymore. A genuinely strong 3rd-place team can still sneak into the round of 32 if their results across the whole tournament are good enough. Some analysts are actually arguing the classic group of death barely exists anymore because the format got so much more forgiving. There's serious competition for toughest group elsewhere too. Group D, containing host nation USA alongside Turkey, Australia, and Paraguay, has been called the tightest, most unpredictable group at the entire tournament because all 4 teams are statistically close enough that literally any of them could finish 1st or 4th. Group K, with Portugal and Colombia both sitting inside the world's top 10, is right up there as well. Meanwhile, groups built around teams like Spain and Brazil look noticeably calmer on paper, which tells you something important. The draw alone can hand one nation an easy stroll and another nation a nightmare, before a single ball is even kicked. And don't assume rankings guarantee anything anyway. At the 2022 World Cup, Saudi Arabia, a team many casual fans had never even heard of, beat Argentina, ranked third in the entire world and led by Lionel Messi in the group stage. Argentina went on to win the whole tournament a few weeks later. That's the chaos baked into this format. 90 minutes is just enough time for an underdog to ruin a Legends tournament. Now, what happens if two teams finish with the exact same points? FIFA has a backup checklist used in order. First, goal difference, meaning total goals scored minus goals allowed across all three games. Still tied? Total goals scored. Still tied? The head-to-head result between those exact two teams. Still tied after that? FIFA actually looks at disciplinary record, counting yellow and red cards picked up during the group stage, where fewer cards can literally save your tournament. It keeps cascading down the list until somebody comes out ahead, and in the rarest cases, it can even come down to a drawing of lots. This is exactly why you'll sometimes see a team that's already mathematically safe still hunting for one more goal in the 89th minute. They're not just playing for the win anymore. They're protecting their tiebreaker position in case it matters later, and a single extra goal or a single avoided yellow card can decide who survives. As of right now, this tournament is already underway. The opening match saw co-host Mexico beat South Africa 2-0 in Mexico City, and the United States opened their campaign with a win over Paraguay. 48 teams, 12 groups, 104 total matches. That's 40 more games than the last World Cup. Stretched across 3 host countries for the first time ever, running from June 11th through July 19th. So here's the simplified version of everything you just learned. 48 teams split into 12 groups of 4. Everyone plays 3 games. Win equals 3 points, draw equals 1, loss equals 0. Top 2 from every group advance automatically, plus the 8 best third-place teams squeeze through behind them, for 32 total survivors heading into a brand new round of 32 that's never existed before. Ties get settled by goal difference first, then total goals, then head-to-head, then discipline. Here's the thing worth remembering above everything else. The group stage was never just a warm-up before the real tournament starts. It's where legendary teams get humbled in front of the entire planet, where unknown nations become legends overnight, and where one rough 90 minutes can end a superstars World Cup before the knockouts even begin. The format changed this year, but that part never will. If this finally made the World Cup make sense, subscribe because there's a lot more of this tournament left to break down, and you're going to want to understand every piece of it before it's over.